Hey everyone, my name is Brian Harold Taylor and I'm a character designer, illustrator, and animator who specializes in making fantasy adventure comics and films. So today I'm coloring this character. Simian Samurai is his name, and I'm going to be sharing a few tips along the way as I go. So I already have his colors pretty much figured out from a previous illustration that I did with him, as you can see here. But I can still share some of the thoughts that go on as I try to figure out colors in general for my art. So first off, I should state that colors do not come naturally to me. And I've struggled a lot over the years to understand color theory. In fact, I'm sure I still have a long way to go. But over the years, other artists that were much better at color theory than I am have been patient enough to teach me some stuff that's helped me understand a lot. I'll also just say that a lot of my understanding about what colors to use comes from trial and error. So this isn't going to be like a color theory video at all, as there are far better ones out there. In fact, I'll put a link down below to a couple of the better ones that I found. So that said, I think the key that really helped me to understand color the most was when I realized that I should be trying to limit the amount and saturation of colors in an image. Like if you can imagine the color wheel in Photoshop, okay? Or, whatever program. There is a literal rainbow of colors that you can choose from. And if you simply pick and choose from the color wheel at random without first establishing some parameters or rules for your image, the result is going to look like rainbow barf. So there are different techniques for doing this. Some people actually will mask off parts of the color wheel. Some find a color palette they like and stick with that. For me, in my own work, what I like to do is to find maybe 3 colors that go well together, and I try to keep within those. Now, it doesn't always work, but I find that generally the closer I keep to a limited palette like this, the nicer my stuff looks. It's basically setting up some color rules for your illustration where you're saying you can get this saturated, but no more. So think of these 3 colors as like saturation limiters. So if you think of it like a traditional painter's palette, you've got 3 colors on your palette, and then you're going to mix those colors to come up with all the other colors that you're going to use in your image. If you take a look at the final image of Simian Samurai, you'll see that ultimately I settled on 3 main colors, and all of his other colors are pretty much less saturated versions or mixtures of these 3. Now, my stuff tends to run a bit desaturated overall. I still play it pretty safe with color. Over the years, though, as I've learned, I've been pushing things a bit further, and I hope to continue to do that. All that is to say that another tip you can do if your work starts to look like the rainbow barf is to crank down the saturation overall until all the colors start to play nice together. Definitely don't keep it like this though, but use it as a starting point to save an illustration that just isn't working for some reason. Then from here, it's easier to wrangle with and figure out what kind of color scheme you want. So here you can start playing with color balance to give a good overall tone to start with. But again, it's a starting point. And then you go from there and start adding in additional colors or maybe boosting saturation with certain colors. So let's say you figured that out for one character, and now you want to move on to the other characters in your story. What I found works for me is that once I have this unified color scheme based around, say, 3 colors for a main character, I'll then begin coloring the next character, trying to stay within these same 3 colors as much as I can. Now, if I'm unable, which does tend to happen, I'll choose a new color that seems to fit nicely within this color world I've established and doesn't deviate too much. I'll do this for each character, growing the palette as needed so that all the characters look unified and all of their colors play together well. Finally, I'll do the same with the environment, but we'll generally make it more subdued using cooler colors so that the characters will stand out with the warmer colors, if that makes sense. Once it's done, what I'll have is a limited palette that I can reuse for a comic or several illustrations featuring the same world. Another thing I should probably talk about while I'm doing shadows here is that if you'll notice, I'm using sort of this purple pink color, which I've been using a lot lately for shadows. Now, I just generally like it. There's no real logical reason why. I guess it just makes things seem a little bit more glowy or colorful. I also painted it with a sort of noise texture from a brush that I made. Anything you can do to add texture to digital art is a good thing. You want to get rid of the digital look, and one of the big signs of it is a lack of texture. I'll also add a subtle noise texture to the whole thing for this reason. It seems to soften it up just a bit and makes a huge difference. Well, that's about it for me today. I know that me just talking about this doesn't really explain things as well as if I was to show what I'm talking about. So I may just make an entire tutorial on this subject at some point, maybe for my Patreon or something like that. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Please leave your comments if you'd be so inclined to like and subscribe. That'd be amazing. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Hey, did you guys know that I have an art book? My first art book is available on Amazon.com. Check it out if it's something that interests you. I hope it inspires somebody out there. And then the second thing that I want to talk about is my Patreon. I'm on Patreon, where I share all of my art, projects, and videos, including these videos, early. And some of the stuff will not be shown anywhere else. It'll be exclusive for Patreon only. Links to both my Patreon and my art book are available in the video description below.